Hello, how are you? I'm pretty good. I'm really, can you see my shirt?
Yes, you're being very patriotic today.
Yeah, I'm ready for the 4th of July and all the fireworks and hot dogs and hamburgers
All right,
and
everything
potato
in
salad.
between. And our topic today is the alchemy of romance, how real life experiences shape fictional love stories. What was the first real life moment that ever inspired one of your fictional love stories?
My first book I wrote with my uncle in mind. My uncle had a very interesting life. he He fought in the Pacific during World War II. Very handsome, very tall. He, I mean, I loved him to death. And so when he passed away, it was sad. I was sad, and when I decided to start writing, I thought about him. And so my very first book is with him. And then the first book in the Four Horsemen series is about my grandfather and grandmother. The description of the two fits both of them to a T. And they were interesting. My grandfather had a very interesting life. He came from a farm in Virginia and ended up multimillionaire. He did a lot of things, made a lot of money. He was a shrewd devil. Big man, big man. And my grandmother was little, tiny, and buxom. Cute.
How do you walk the line between real emotion and fictional embellishment?
Well, I don't know. I thought about that because I read that question. I think that a lot of times you take, or for me, I can take a personal experience and embellish it or twist it around, whatever you want to say. I don't have a lot of my own life in any of my books. Um, It'd be like a 20-volume book, and it would be um, interesting.
Have you ever written a scene based on a personal heartbreak or even a happy ending that didn't happen in real life?
Well, romance novels are all HEAs, happily ever afters. And so when I write an ending for my couple, I it would be nice to have had that experience for myself. Um, I never did. I had a very all the men that I was ever with, they were very good men, very good to me. Most of them had money, and I got to travel a lot. I got to see a lot of things all over the world, but I don't really put those experiences into my books.
When creating your characters, do you ever mash up real people into one fictional soulmate?
Not a soulmate, no. But like I said before, put real, I do write my characters with real people in mind, like my grandfather, my grandmother, my uncle. Um, the next two books I'm going to be writing are based on men that I knew in my life. Um, so those two are coming. good.
What role did nostalgia play in your writing?
Um, you know, I write historical romances that take place in England between like 1775 and 1830, right in there.
Okay.
And I think that period of time is very interesting, and particularly for me because I'm English and Scottish descent. So it's kind of nostalgic to look back at that time and think about who my great, 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 might have been and where they might have been in that whole era.
Has writing romance ever helped you process real life emotions, relationships, or personal growth?
I think that writing is kind of cathartic. So if you do have an issue and you write that into your story, then you're compelled to work it out. You have to do that for your book. And if you have that reflected in your own life, then it's going to help. For the worse, for the better, for the worse, it's going to work itself out because you're writing it out. You're exercising it. If that makes any sense. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Do your readers ever guess which parts of the stories are based on true events?
I first I never there's two people that know that I write. And the two people that know that I write don't know anything about my personal life. And I was listening to a speaker that was talking about authors, and they said, don't tell people that you write. You don't need those people, your friends and your family. If you're counting on them to be successful, you're never going to be successful. The best thing you can do is not to tell anybody because friends and family are going to try to intrude. So, no, the answer is no.
All right. How do you infuse an authenticity into your love scenes without crossing into autobiography?
Oh my God. Well, my love scenes are steamy, steamy. And how do you write a steamy scene for your book if you don't know anything about that? So, um,
Makes sense.
yeah.
Have you ever taken inspiration from someone else's love story, a friend, a family member, or a stranger at a cafe?
Oh, I haven't been to a cafe in a long time. um, the I've not done that yet, but the next two books I'm going to be writing, I will infuse my personal life or that relationship into the book. It'll, of course, it's set in the late 1700s, so of course I don't, I wouldn't have been there. I think that the storyline that I'm going to use for the two books will be very similar to the relationship that I had in real life. But if you knew me, um, and most people today don't really know me, but if they did, I don't think they'd recognize the characters as being me and whoever.
Wow, this is great stuff. The best place people can find you, and we're gonna have guests soon. She's out hustling for guests. Just to
I
say you're
am
gonna be on
hustling.
the biggest show in the world, the Neil Haley Show. Come
Yeah,
on now. And
yeah.
the big celebrities, David Magadoff was on my show from Dexter Resurrection today, and I always have big guests. And I had someone on Kingsley No, yeah, it was King's. He was a Star Academy Award winner this week. So check out Neil
Oh,
Haley Show. Go to
Kingsley,
minavalentine.com.
wait a minute. The show, the podcast will be on Spotify and YouTube.
YouTube.
And you can find me on the Mina Valentine Show or the Neil Haley and Mina Valentine
Yeah,
Show. Both.
exactly. Appreciate
And the last thing is,
it.
I
And
I have been on TikTok. I've asked a couple of the authors, but I know a lot of authors, or I have their names, and so I'm going to put out more requests. I want romance writers, and they don't have to be necessarily historical, but I do want the HEA writers. That'll be good. So if you're out there and you're watching this podcast, get a hold of us. Right?
all right. That was a special simulcast of Neil Haley Show and the Mina Valentine.